Hey, welcome to the Screen Rot podcast.
No song.
Huh?
No song.
Wait.
Sorry.
Wait.
Sorry. Do you want to start again?
The podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been rotting our screens and indeed our minds. Shout out to everyone who subscribes to us on any of the platforms listed, such as Spotify, Apple, or YouTube.
Great
You're doing us a massive favour.
platforms.
Not as big a favour as the patrons. Some of them pay £3.99 a month. They're called the Freemasons. They get extra episodes just like this, extra every single week. One more of these every single week, plus priority access to tickets to live events. Plus, that has thrown me a little bit. I have to say.
Sorry.
Illuminati, £5.99 a month to get a free hat on their heads.
What a
plus
tier.
access to the group chat. Big shout out to Eugene, runs our
He's
Twitter
sent by
account. He
God.
may be sent by God. And a big wink and a kiss to all the ladies who listen, who I believe, and I can confirm, having looked at loads of them on the internet, are some of the most gorgeous and sexy ladies in the United Kingdom. And I'm here with Jake Farrell.
After the resounding success of Will Young last week, I was wondering what it was going to be this week.
I
You're
was
discontinuing it.
I was going to come in with a flirty tone. I did have a song lined up, but then it sort of threw me off a bit, and then I couldn't find my footing, and I just fell off. Sorry. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. For new listeners, what we do sometimes is we do a song at the beginning of the episode. I might just throw it in later.
Oh, that would
for
be
a laugh.
nice. Yeah, why
I
not?
might throw the song that I
What a
prepared
tease
in
to keep
later.
listening that is. If that can't keep you tuned in on your
Yeah.
iPod, what will?
Format check. What we do, sort of 10-15 minutes of shit at the top.
Yeah.
Which is, well, I say shit at the top. It's the podcast I'd like to make, which is us just talking about anything.
Yeah.
Then we'll slag off the people you want us to bloody slag us
Yeah.
off, bullies. And at some point we'll plug our Patreon. So yeah, welcome to the show.
I think I preferred the song.
This is so we are a year from the moment we nearly lost this podcast.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is true.
That's true. Yeah. So basically,
Last day of the season.
a year ago, on the last day of the footballing season, I went to the Arsenal game where we could have won it. Obviously, didn't.
Still on the table at that point.
Yep. Got really, really drunk. Got thrown around a bar by some Arsenal fans who shouted, "Are you that cunt from YouTube?" Which the answer is obviously yes. But I'm not the cunt from YouTube they meant. They threw me around a bit, nearly got me. I was with some podcasters at the time who were no help. Thankfully, I'd also met some scaffolders I went to school with who were quite
More
a lot of help. Yeah. Then we confirmed that I'm not the cunt from YouTube that they meant to throw around, but I am another cunt from YouTube.
Yeah.
They don't mind quite so much. We rat it all night.
Stop clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Yeah, that's it. And then you were due to come to my house. We used to record this in my house. You came to my house the next morning. I'd slept, but I was still drunk. And you were like, "Oh man, I don't know." And I think we were close to. We were discussing a Scouse pop star / content creator called Michael Aldag. We forced through an episode.
Yeah.
And it really...
It's kind of like a cult. It's like a cult hit, that episode now. There are some people that I've spoken to. I've heard it mentioned on the Screen Rot Discord. You get access if you're a top tier Patreon, where people say that's kind of like, that's a deep cut. Do you know what I mean? That's like an album track that people like, which
I'll be
kind of
honest,
enjoy.
I can't tell you whether it's good or not. I've never listened to it.
No, I
I've
edited it and I've never listened to it. So
I've never put myself through listening to that because I cannot. Because you were very angry with me and I was very sorry.
and very drunk.
And I was drunk. Yeah. I remember some of the clips. I'm chewing a bit of gum. And I'm like, here's the thing, Jake.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, but the way that Alana answered the door that morning, I was like, "Oh my God, he's dead." Like, I was like, something bad's happened, because she knew what was about to happen, because she'd seen you, right? Like, you'd been texting me like, I've got up a bit late or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God, something really terrible's happened. And then obviously I went upstairs and it was just like, you smelled like the John Smith Brewery in Tadcaster. And so it was like, oh, thank God, like, he's fine, but we're never going to do the podcast again.
I think you'd have got a better episode if I was a corpse. I think you'd have made better content that
a weekend
day
of
with a
birdies.
body.
Yeah. Weekend of rotters situation. Yeah.
And then so what has happened is strangely this week that content creator, the Scouse fucking Rosie and Jim cunt, Michael Aldag, he put a thing.
Just get that gasoline out of the garage. Just pour it all over the fire. Why not?
He put up a TikTok about 30-year-olds, and he was like, last time I said something about 30-year-olds, two of them made a podcast about me. Oh.
I think he actually called us millennials.
two millennials.
As an insult. I've never heard the phrase millennial
I'm not
used
sure
as an
we are
insult.
millennials, are we?
I think we're called like geriatric millennials. Like we're the top end of the millennial age bracket.
No, surely we're young millennials.
Are we?
No? I would say that we're like baby millennials because we're like much close. Like a millennial can be someone in their like mid-40s now.
Can it?
I don't know. Yeah. Go on. We got the internet. Why not? Not
Yeah.
to show off about how well things are going, but we've actually got Wi-Fi in it.
There's
now.
Wi-Fi in it.
So the millennial age, millennial.
I would love to still be a millennial. Oh, if
So
I can.
millennials are people born between 1981 and 1996. So that would be 29
Oh,
to
we're
44.
fine then.
So I mean, yeah, we're bang in the middle.
We're
are.
young and vital.
He's not wrong. But anyway, so because that cunt went for us on TikTok, we've done another episode about him, and this time we're sober, and this time we're caffeinated, and it's on the Patreon side. Give it a go, £3.99. Have a listen, see what we've got to say about him. It was the last,
Goodness
pardon me.
me.
It was the last day of the season. Sunday just gone. Still got drunk. This time pissed off my missus.
Yeah.
Rather than you.
Some things don't change.
Yeah.
The last day of the season will always be like a memory from. Do you know what I mean? It will be like. I was about to say something very personal there. I'll say it.
Go on.
I get really depressed every year about the time one of my grandparents died.
Oh, did one of your grandparents die on the last day of the
No, they didn't. They
right.
died about when I started university.
Right.
And it's like a time where it's always like, oh, fuck, it's that day of the year again. And like, that's going to happen now, but it's going to be like, oh, it's that day. I'm going to have like vestigial trauma. I'll be like, oh, that's Jacob.
Because we survived it. Our friendship and our working relationship survived that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be trauma. It's funny. I remember so my grandfather passed away the day of the London Marathon.
Sorry, I'm not laughing that he died. I was just what is this going to be?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like, oh, the day that Mike Skinner released the third Streets album.
No, it's April 23rd. And
You weren't running it though, were you?
No, I wasn't running it. But so my parents aren't very good at telling me when one of my grandparents have died. Now, it's
Right.
obviously their parents dying. So
Yeah,
you have to offer that bit of like, sympathy and
You've got to cut 'em
understanding.
that bit of slack.
Yeah. It's like timing, mum. It's like, my mum's dead. It's like, well, fair. I mean,
Yeah,
my
fair
mum's
enough.
mum isn't dead. I mean, we'll get to it later. But
She's
I
a
fucking wish
nasty
she
bit
was,
of
man.
work, man.
There'll be celebrations when that old bitch part. But no, she. But what?
Imagine this being someone's first episode.
I'd love to say it's not usually like this. It is. But like so basically it was my dad's dad who died on the day of the London Marathon. It was actually really sweet. He'd been unwell for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And my dad
Still made him
I think
run it.
it's sweet. He basically surprised me at my door in South London. He travelled through London.
May I just say something? Men are class.
Yeah. Well, but he made a real effort because
Right.
so he travelled, from where he lives, got the train down to London, got the tube on his own, which
Yeah.
and he, he's not like incompetent, but that's a bit of an ask for him. Just turned up at my door, knocked, and it's like, well, I know why you're here.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to get him up the stairs. You have to be like, oh, hello. He's like, hello. Can I come in? It's like, yep.
Yeah.
Up the stairs into the flat. And just go.
Can I make you a cup of tea?
Yeah, literally that. He let me make the tea first.
Great.
He fucking devened it.
Yeah,
he
he
and then his granddad's died. It's like, oh shit, man.
Granddad's
and
dead.
we have a cuddle, and it's really nice. And
pure
but
Davina
then
style.
I remember I took him back to King's Cross. Right,
Yeah.
I wasn't just gonna go right. Well, cheers, see you later. I took him back to King's Cross. We had a pint near King's Cross.
Yeah.
But it was actually weird. It's kind of beautiful. Like we obviously had this really sad thing that Granddad had died, but there was all these people with medals. And it's such a nice day, isn't it?
It's
And
a wonderful day, very positive event.
And so I've. But then the reason he made such an effort with that is because when his mum died, it was my granny.
Yeah.
They really fucked it. It was like a few years prior.
Two-word text, Nan dead.
No. What I did, I was a student.
Right.
But like, you were a similar thing for me, and it's not to play this sort of working class card, but like I had like a near enough full-time day job whilst I was a student.
Yes.
So I was studying in London, couldn't afford rent. Couldn't get any help from my parents or anyone.
So all the graphic designers that are listening, that kind of their parents still pay their rent and then they use that money to pay for our Patreon. We had those almost full-time day jobs because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have had any money. So there was no one giving us money. It's very hard.
It's actually spiritual justice that you now pay for our Patreon. But so I'd basically I'd got this new job at Reese, the clothing company.
Yes, I do.
Do you know who I was working with and who was like my best mate for about 2 years? Have you watched The City Is Ours?
Yeah.
Do you know James Joyce? James Nelson Joyce?
Yeah.
Like one of my best mates for like years. We worked at the same
mad.
clothes shop together. I was literally texting him yesterday.
That's incredible.
Just name drop there.
Yeah.
He gives me loads of his money as well, so I don't actually need to pay. No, I'm joking.
I was thinking it was going to be London Marathon related.
It was at Reese.
Elliot Kipchoge.
It was at Reese,
Yes.
right? You know, the formal clothing company.
Yeah.
My first day at Reese, right, my granny died very early in the morning. My shift started at 10. My granny died at 7. My parents knew
It was your first day?
My parents knew not to tell me before my first day at work. So do you know what they did?
What?
They waited till my lunch break. Genuinely. Genuinely. And they started the call.
That's incredible.
They started the call by going, we didn't want to tell you this before you started your new job because we're so proud of you working at Reach. The suits are lovely.
The suits are lovely.
I was like, yeah, what is it? Well, Granny's died. I'm sat there in this staff room. These people I've never fucking met before. My grandson, I'm like crying. I'm like, okay, thanks for waiting till now.
I don't think this Jacob guy's going to work out. He's just done an incredibly elaborate ploy to get out of the afternoon shift.
The guy from the city is asking, you okay, lad? You okay? They cry every 5 minutes, Scouts.
Yeah, they love it.
He got it. Yeah. He was like, what's
That's
it about?
fucking amazing.
What, have they closed another mine?
Also, the most North Hertfordshire thing ever to be like, he cannot miss a day of retail.
No.
He cannot miss a day of
to
retail.
go.
He has to go. That's a given.
He has to go.
That's the starting point for this.
But I did have to go because it was the first day. Wait till the
Wait
day's
till 5.
done. Wait till it's over. I'm not going to be like, how did you let me stack shelves while she was dead? Like, obviously, just fucking wait till...
What do you want me to do about it between 1 and 5? I can't get to a church to pray right now. Yeah. Incredible stuff.
So, yeah.
I remember what mine.
How did we get into dead grandparents?
Because we were talking about.
I obviously
days
wish my
of the
nan
year.
was dead, but how did we get?
Yeah, I remember
last day.
My granddad. I knew my granddad was going to die, and I was walking home, and we lived at the top of the hill in Stevenage, and my mum was driving up the hill, and she saw me walking. I can't remember where I was walking back from, and she like pulled over and like opened the window, and she was like, and I knew it, and it was kind of like didn't have.
She told you on the street.
Well, because it was like I knew she was coming back from the hospital. I could see she was crying in the car, kind of thing. It was all whatever. But then we had this weird moment where I was just kind of like jogging up the hill next to the car. When she was kind of like, we were both too like fucked to know what we were doing. So she should have let me in. But I was just kind of like, just kind of crying coming up the hill.
And she did like a drive-by. She did like a drive-by.
Granddad's dead! It's like I was training for a boxing match or something.
Also, to anyone watching, they wouldn't have known it's your mum. They'd have just seen some poor runner sobbing while someone goes, your granddad's dead, and then another car comes, you ginger cunt. Everyone in Stevenage just mucking you
should
off.
be at Reese, you fucking cunt.
So, women aren't happy about getting catcalled out of cars.
Yeah.
We're not happy about people telling us our grandparents are dead.
That's so funny. Oh my God, I just remember that. That's class.
13 minutes of bollocks, right.
And by the way, again, if it's your first time, you might be seeing time signature stamps on the comments to this YouTube video saying, why are they talking about their granddads being dead? Why aren't they talking about some person from social media? Just all those people, like, go fuck yourself. You need us. I don't need you. Apart from if you're a patron, in which case we very much
really
do
need you. I'm applying for a mortgage at the moment. I'm like, please. Yeah. Genuinely, I am starting to like sort out a more, and it's
your
like,
life.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got a long way to go, brother.
Come on, brother.
But like with the mortgage and stuff, it's like, I am sat there discussing my earnings, and it's like, God, yeah, my earnings do really depend on the whims of a few graphic designers.
A few, yeah.
If they decide that they want to listen to The Rest Is History.
Yeah. Or they get into trains or whatever they're into next.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah.
We're moving. Right, anyway, enough of that. We had a good laugh, but it's time to get serious. Is there anything we need to talk about before this? Hats are getting sent out to patrons really quickly at the moment. Keep an eye on messages.
Going out
we're
next
ask
week.
you for your address. What else? Live shows. I think all the tour dates are sold out now. I think
tour days are all sold out.
Leeds.
I think there's like under 10 tickets left for Birmingham. Although the person that shares that information with us is...
That's enough. Yeah, so...
It's been a long day at Screen Rock Towers.
Beep.
I'll just say that.
Beep. Yes, it's towards still out, but we're going to announce something really big, really soon.
Why I, man? We may well do that.
Yeah, really big, really soon. So please keep an eye.
We might do that. Come
an
in
eye
your
out on
110s,
Yeah.
to the show.
Oh, sorry. Are you hinting we're going to do a Liverpool date?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
sorry.
Liverpool, Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to announce dates in Edinburgh, Newcastle, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
But then also something really big somewhere else.
Yeah.
So basically, more live stuff coming. Let's get into it. This week we're talking about, I think, the third topic we ever spoke about on this podcast.
Yeah, this was early days. This was one of the people we had in mind when we started piloting the podcast. And by piloting, I mean talking to each other on Zoom.
And it is also one of those things that I think when people go, have you heard of the Screen Rock podcast? People go, what's that? They go, well, they sort of talk about Bevo, who I bumped into outside Arsenal the other day.
Oh, next week's intro.
Bevo, Schooner Scorer, the Famileigh. And so this week, ladies and gentlemen, for a Rock revisit, we are turning the guns back towards the Famileigh.
Jacob, I've got something to talk to you about.
Yeah, that's how a podcast works.
No, better than that.
Oh.
We've got our first ever advert. Would you believe it?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I told you about it a minute
yeah.
ago. But not only that, I'm quite pleased because this is a product, a thing that I really like anyway. Today I want to talk to you about The Fence magazine. You might not know this, Jacob, but The Fence is the UK's only magazine. Were you aware of that?
I have my suspicions.
Yeah. I think that...
I've not seen any other titty mags or anything, so I assumed that there was only one now.
It's not a titty mag, but yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Kind of
like ladies in their gardens.
That's ladies in their gardens and stuff. Yeah, they do slightly different stuff to that, but it's not too dissimilar actually in a way.
Okay.
If you don't know, The Fence magazine, in the way that we're the only podcast that has ever taken the mickey out of the internet, we're the only people that have ever done that. These guys are the only magazine. Now, I'm genuinely a subscriber to The Fence. I love The Fence. You can find writing in there from people that we love. Jimmy McIntosh is their official Pints correspondent. Did you know?
Yeah. I like Jimmy and I like Pints.
Yeah, you do. You like both those things. They've got bits and pieces from Clive Martin in there. They've had amazing pieces over the years in there. Terrified of him.
Yeah.
Well, in case he comes for us one day.
Yeah.
We'll have to close the podcast down. But yeah, so The Fence is amazing. The new edition, right, it's got sharks on the front, which I don't mind. And here's some other stuff that's in there. I'm yet to read it. It's got latest insider scoops from Mayfair prostitutes, the kidnap for ransom industry, and a man who was running a sex chat on the morning of 9/11.
That's very us. Let's have it right.
Come on.
I was sold on sharks. Then you got into all the dirty stuff. I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, it's £7.50, super affordable. It's like a solo pint. Yeah. That's quality.
I'd buy that and then go for a solo pint with it.
That's what I do tend to do.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to do.
That helps with mental H and stuff.
Yes, The Fence is a mental health awareness magazine.
I wouldn't bother with fucking, BetterHelp and all this therapy shit.
No.
That's loads cheaper than therapy.
Yeah, a visit from the Madry man, and the latest edition of The Fence.
Fantastic.
I hope you go and have a look now. You can get The Fence now. It's also got 20% off subscriptions at the moment, so get on that as quickly as you can. We love The Fence. We already loved them before they said that they wanted us to talk about them on the podcast. We're so pleased to be able to do so. Go and get hold of The Fence now. Oi. What do you want to do?
No.
Oi.
No.
I was thinking of Big Meeks now.
Go.
Oi. Get on this. I think we might be about to be at the start of the big pull from the Famileigh renaissance. I think it could be a white boy summer.
Oh!
Yet again. I think that this summer might all be about big pull from the Famileigh. Because when we talked about them before, I think I was about to say famously said, but famously to me, said that Big Paul looked like a bear that was being held in a Russian circus at the time, being forced to do tricks by his two photogenic sons.
It's not that way anymore, is it?
Big Paul is the apex predator in that family again. He has reasserted his dominance. He is coming out of the pages of LinkedIn and he is coming into our living rooms. And I could see Big Paul on the One Show, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I could see Big Paul doing correspondences on the One Show. I could see Big Paul being a guest on the show that they do after the X Factor.
He's the one out of the three of them. And I mean, how do we frame this? Do we need to explain who the family are? Probably not. Viral family. They dance.
Yes.
They're
equal parts kind of, oh, these guys are a breath of fresh air to I'm going to find out where they live and hurt them.
Well, so I think it's all context because they blew up in lockdown.
Yes.
And I think dancing with your family was something to celebrate during lockdown.
Yeah.
When everyone was locked in with their family and depressed and
Not if you're a
miserable.
comedian, obviously.
No.
Not if you're...
I think in lockdown, it was a thing of like, wow, let's dance with our families. Wow, these guys, look at these sons. Look how much they like their dad.
Yeah.
Oh, and the dad's enjoying it too.
Do you know what? I might actually have a beveragini. Thank you very much.
Maybe we won't all kill ourselves. Maybe it's okay to be locked in together. Maybe
There's a lasagna in Wembley. It's all going to be all right.
Right. Yeah. Whereas now...
Yeah.
Now...
When it's all a bit J.G. Ballard again.
Oh.
Yeah.
No one's got time for that.
No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say.
And I think now it's interesting to look at the three members of the family. There is a fourth one, the sister.
Yes.
Who I don't get that.
What do you mean?
Look to the ceiling. Do I want to say it? She's kind of so fit that I think if that was my sister, I don't know if I'd put her on my Instagram.
Yeah, not clear how old she is. Just going to Google that.
Like Bevo. Bevo's got a sister, and Bevo's sister is underage, right?
Great.
And Bevo has started doing a thing where he's like, oi, go follow my sister, yeah?
Right.
His sister is underage, and he's putting up, like, pictures in her underwear.
Wow.
Yeah? Now, if my 15-year-old sister...
Yeah.
He's putting up photographs. Jake is almost shaking as he Googles.
I mean, we're gonna have to bleep it.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. Turns out she's fine. Yeah.
How fine?
Not by much.
What do you mean?
She's just turned 18 by the looks of things. So.
No, I mean she's pretty fine. Oh god, she actually just turned 18. Oh
well, no, it's fine. No. so you, yeah.
Basically, Bevo's sister is like 15, I think.
Jesus Christ!
And she's putting up pictures on her Instagram of like her underwear.
Right.
And he is like sharing not those pictures to be fair, but other pictures be like, oi, yes, bless up, go follow up my sister, yeah.
Right.
And you follow his sister, you're like, Jesus, I'm gonna go to jail if I follow this. I can't fucking. It's like, so why are you trying to get me to do that? With the family, like similarly, the sister's got like quite revealing photographs on her Instagram.
Right.
And they're all like, come and do a dance so we can get you loads of followers. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to do
you
that.
want to be putting them in harm's way, yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's interesting to break down the kind of dynamics of the three of them. So there's the main guy,
Yeah.
the sort of the bigger faced, longer haired guy.
Yes.
He's always in the middle of the dances.
Yes. He seems to be the ringleader of the circus.
He's the ringleader of the circus. I suspect it's his name on Company House. He.
Well, Paul's not allowed to have access to the business account.
Well, no, I don't think it's that they don't want Paul
It's
to
like
have
a kind of
access to the
Barry
business
Hearn
account.
in the
But
Barry Hearn Steve Davis situation.
The thing is. The thing is, I think with the other two,
Yeah.
right. So I don't know what the middle guy's name is, but then there's Travis,
Yeah,
who's
the
the
gym
kind
guy.
of curly,
Harrison is the other guy.
mustachious
Yeah,
gym
yeah.
guy. Fucking Harrison.
Yeah.
Harrison's the ringleader, and then Big Paul's the dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big Paul has got a really good job, I think, at Stagecoach.
Yeah, there's an amazing video of him being like, "Hi to all my LinkedIn followers. I'm here to show you around a new bus."
Yeah.
Incredible
Right.
video.
Still does the job.
Yeah.
And my mate has like seen him at King's Cross before and been like, "Big Paul, can I get a picture?" And he's like, "Yeah, just on my way to work, though, mate. So be quick."
Right.
Like, he clearly takes the job seriously.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's sort of like, "Yeah, I'll do the dancing shit, but like, I'm doing my,
Yeah,
I'm doing my proper job."
I wonder what that feels like to have a kind of entertainment pursuit that's rapidly spiraling out of control while all the while you've got a very full-time office job that you're desperately trying to keep separate from that thing.
Well, I think for you, it's different because I think you would probably like to keep this quiet at your office because I keep talking about fit 18-year-olds at the start of the podcast. Whereas I think with Big Paul, it's like, you're doing what with your sons? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the thing.
Jacob was saying that because he was concerned about the women involved's welfare.
Yeah. And I just wanted to check that they're fine, and they're pretty fine. But one of them is. Sorry, Bevo's sister is underage. That was a joke mistake, not a... Fucking hell, let's move on.
The meta layers of fuck up in every single podcast. No, sorry, that wasn't a fuck up. That was a joke about a fuck up that was a fuck up.
But Travis, the other one. So the dad's got his bus stuff, yeah. So
Yes.
he's busy. Travis, the other one, has been to uni, come back, got hench,
Yes.
loads of tattoos, and I reckon. Like here's the thing between the three of them. Big Paul's obviously not on dating sites. So he's married to the mum.
Yes.
I don't think Big Paul brings it up much at work.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I thought bring it up was like some kind of patois then for like winds it up. Paul doesn't wind it up much.
No. Paul's not winding
Paul doesn't.
it up. But I don't think Paul. I think if Paul can avoid it, I'm sure if people at work are like, "You still dance with your sons?" He's like, "Yeah." But I'd say he's not bringing it up much. The Travis, the middle one, the good-looking fella, the sort of Paul Mescal-looking guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he mentions it on any of his link on his.
He's 14, by the way.
No, he's not. I do want to fuck him. I've really checked, but no, he I'd say on like his Hinge profile and his dating profiles, he doesn't mention it.
He doesn't mind the money.
Might even have a fake name.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd say Harrison is like the face of the business.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Regularly in meetings with the agents. Like, and I think you can feel that in the content that they make now. The dad, I think, like you say, I think he's got genuinely star potential.
Oh yeah.
I think Travis just wants a normal life. Travis, it's getting close to like Jesse at the end of Breaking Bad. Like, yeah, okay, I know.
He's being held in a shed by Nazis.
Yeah. I'd say they've got a chain thing on Travis when he's in the house. Do you know what I mean?
That's for his own safety, though.
Whereas the Harrison guy, he's real fucking, you know.
How can I get on the X Factor?
Los Pollos Comanos, that guy. Yeah.
He's Gus Fring in this analogy.
He's
right.
the Gus. Yeah. That's my theory.
I think that's a really good summation of where it's at. And like you say, the dynamics of that, and the reason that we're revisiting him this time, I think is a very timely reason to do it, is because they've just announced and started doing actually their new podcast, which I'm going to talk Jacob through in a minute. Which is called Like Fathers Like Sons. Like sons like fathers. Let me find out.
I think it is like. I know that they've pluralised it, and I don't really understand why.
I remember thinking that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It could have just been like father like son.
Like father like sons. That's it. Like father like sons.
Because two sons. I don't. Yeah. You need to. Yeah.
And so they're trying to enter into a new phase. And I guess with any of these things, these brands or these kind of like things that start out as memes, you're desperately trying to find a way to monetize it beyond like the ads. And they did an ad with a shopping centre in like Berkshire or whatever. And so they've extended into this podcast thing. And I think that like you say, the Harrison is almost kind of like Walter White in Breaking Bad, is almost kind of creating the article of his own demise, if you know what I mean. Because he's exposing people to Big Paul, uncut Big Paul. And I don't mean like uncut in the way that Frost and Leo says uncut. I mean uncut as in like unstepped.
Jake's just referred to, we did an episode on a lunatic.
Yes.
A man called Frost and Leo.
The policy of selection has now changed to disclude lunatics.
Yeah, this man's unwell. He's called Frost and Leo on Instagram and TikTok. Basically a big guy in New York who's on his own a lot and just walks around
making cat noises.
Yeah, that was his thing.
He was viral for about 48 hours and we're like, we must do an episode on this guy.
Now, he's got a few followers, but not many. And he talks a lot about how he's desperate for uncuts. And rather than what Jake's saying, which is like a purified version of someone's personality, he wants a penis with the foreskin on. And he'll film himself being like, where those foreskins at? Meow! So you don't mean that. Jake...
I don't mean that now. I'm going to mean that later in the podcast.
Where those little uncut penises at? I want to see a foreskin. Oh, you got to check this guy out.
You will be thinking to yourself, if you haven't heard him, it can't be that. It's that. It's definitely that.
He's naked sometimes. He's just naked in his pants.
Yeah.
Big man.
Yeah.
Dancing around his really small flat.
Yes.
Meowing about how much he wants an uncut.
Yeah. And kind of like Graham Linehan, you just don't see heads that look like that very often.
I mean, are you uncut, by the way? Where are you at with that?
Where am I at with it?
Where are you at with your foreskin? Where are you at with it?
I'm thinking about getting it done.
Are you?
No, I'm not thinking about getting it done. What are you talking about?
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Apparently it's common practice in America.
Yeah. But hence why what we're talking about, this Frost and Leo guy, where he's like, where are the uncuts at? Meow!
Yeah.
Like, I do think it's... I think it
the
might
uncut's
be...
a tenner penny over here.
I think it's...
Throw a rock in
I think it's more common to have... to be cut than uncut in America. I think it's more common...
Yeah.
Here, we're foreskin people.
Big time.
Here, I'm trying to think... A few of my mates have had it chopped, though. I will say that.
Non-Jewish friends?
Non-Jewish friends, yeah.
Big up the Jewish people, by the way.
Big up the Jews, of course.
Yeah. As people would say.
Shalom.
So you got a few friends that are
trying to think of other Jewish...
non-religious but cut.
Trying to think of other Jewish What's the other one?
Words. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. That's it. Yeah. There are a few sort of Jewish. We'll come back to foreskins in a moment. I will just say quickly. My old agent was Jewish.
Right.
It was a bit awkward as I was like getting ready to leave because I'd been poached by another agency, and then she'd basically I'd been booked to open for a big American comedian called Nate Bargatze.
Right.
And the booking was done outside of her. It was actually done by the new agency who also represent Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
But
first taste
it obviously went through her so that she would know about it. But I was just about to leave her, and she just messaged. But I didn't know it happened. It all happened above my head basically.
Right.
And I didn't even know who Nate Bargatze was.
Right.
But it was like a really big gig opening for this really big American comedian for his like one London show.
Funny guy.
And my ex-agent really liked. So she just messaged me going, Nate Bargatze. I'd never heard of this guy. My ex-agent was Jewish. We were in a period where I thought it was a Jewish greeting. I said it back. It kind of sounds like it. Hey, Mazel tov. Hey, Nate Bargatze. You can see it, couldn't you?
Nate Bargatze to you.
She literally she just put Nate Bargatze exclamation mark, and I went Nate Bargatze thumbs up. And yeah, she was like, great booking. I was like, huh?
Oh, that's so funny.
I'll just
I can't believe you never told me that before.
Passing my Jewish friends, be
That's
like,
nice.
hey, Nate Bargatze. They're like, yeah, I like this special. What you want? Anyway, back to foreskins. Yeah, do you know what? I've got a few pals who've been cut, but all of them, it's because of problems.
I love that. We're back to foreskins, which is still 2 digressions away from where we started. So we're getting closer back to the subject.
We will
Okay.
get to the family.
Yeah, so you've got a few
so-
three friends. Yeah, it's usually kind of some kind of medical reason.
Yeah, I think one of them it got dirty under there. One of them it got.
It's great to discuss
I won't
this.
say his name, but one of them it was dirty under there, so they chopped him. One of them.
Is that what the doctor says? Oh, it's dirty under there.
Well, no, I think it got infected. Basically,
Yeah.
I think it got really dirty. Like,
You're a mucky pup.
No, it wasn't mucky. It was like medically bad.
Medically mucky.
It was like people in hazmat suits were like fucking hell.
Breaking Bad lads around there. It's like Bonnie Blue, medically mucky.
So 28 days later, when everyone's like, "Don't touch
touch
it
that,"
was like that. But so they chopped him, and then another pal of mine. Basically, he was at uni.
Right.
He became a bad stoner. You know this guy actually.
Okay.
Basically, like my mates, they all went to uni together in Huddersfield, and their life just fell apart. Like they all went up there pretty good kids, I think. They're all a bit older than me.
Right.
No, they became like drug dealers, and they were involved in all sorts. And they all got kicked off their courses, and they were living in this house. Their lives just. I remember they got
In Huddersfield.
In Huddersfield, they got robbed by like a rival drug gang once, and they weren't a good drug gang. My mates, they were all just stoners. So like, I think the rival drug gang just came in, took the big jar full of cannabis, took the big jar full of cash, and were like, "See ya." And they're like, "Rah!" But
After that, they were like, I fucking need to get circumcised ASAP.
Yeah, well, one of them was sort of in such a bad way that he was spending a lot of his time in bed, but his financial situation was bad enough that he had like a bed buddy. Like there was 2 of them who just slept in the same bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, like
This is the worst thing I've ever heard.
we've never done this. But like sometimes when people go to like the Edinburgh Fringe, for example,
Yes.
it's really expensive.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what? It's so expensive for accommodation. We'll just share a bed.
Yeah, it's one of the most
Or like-
disgusting and embarrassing things someone
But
can do.
people do it for all sorts. Like if you go like Primavera, you might be like, you know what? For the weekend,
That's fine.
we'll
To
share
do
a
it at the Fringe is unfortunately scandalous, but
doing it at the Fringe is bad. These guys just did it in Huddersfield.
Did it in their lives.
Ironically, one of the cheapest places to live in the UK.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And they were smoking a lot of weed. And my mate was doing a lot of wanking. And basically, he had some kind of wanking injury.
Yeah,
where
okay.
the end of his penis swelled up to the
Right.
point that it like
an episode of Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Throbbing, like a hammered thumb.
And the piano fell out of the sky, and then his cat set fire to his foot. No,
African American lady running around the kitchen.
that's never explained, is it?
No. There's a throbbing penis in here!
I'm worried that there's going to be revealed that, that's actually a deeply racist trope.
Oh, it definitely is. Don't worry about that, brother.
But basically, so the end of his penis got so like swollen and sore, but then like the foreskin got really tight and wouldn't let the end.
Yeah, this isn't required. I'm pretty sure you're pushing me to see how far I'll let you go.
No.
Okay then, come on then.
They had to go and have like emergency surgery to get the foreskin off to like release all the blood from the end.
This is horrible.
But then he obviously recovered in this bed that he was sharing with another stoner. And he said that they would just sit there, just watching box sets, and like at the end of it, it's like, do you want to watch another one? It's like, yes. You want to watch another one? Yes. And then eventually, his bedmate was like, should we have a look? And he was like, yeah. And apparently they both went, let's watch more House, man.
I honestly hear about people's lives and I just think, I would kill myself. I would 100% kill myself, like 4 steps earlier in that. Like at the point where I'm at a hospital in Huddersfield and a guy's going, well, we're going to have to circumcise you because you've been wanking too much.
And you're stoned out your nut.
You're stoned out your nut. I'm sorry about the drug dealers robbing your house last week, but we're going to have to circumcise you. And when you're recovering, there's going to be a guy who you fucking don't know, by the way, and he's going to be sitting next to you. I know.
When they got robbed, apparently, like there was like a few robbers, and one of them had a gun, and the rest all had golf clubs. And when they came in and got them and were like, "Give us your money, give us your stuff," and they were like getting it. Apparently, the one
I'm sweating because of that story.
One of the
I feel myself sweating.
Apparently, my mates were like so pathetic that one of the ones with the golf club said to the one with the gun, "Went, I told you didn't need that."
That's class. Have you ever had a time like that in your life?
Men are class.
Where it's got, drug dealers in Huddersfield are class. Have you ever had a time in your life where it's got so bad where you just think, I just wish my mum and dad would come and get me?
Oh, loads.
Like if my mum poked her head around this door now and went, come on, you're coming with us.
I have gone home a few times because it's been bad enough.
Yeah.
I have, like, genuinely, there have been trips home in my time where it's just been life's so bad.
Yeah.
Life is so bad. Michael Aldag episode. No, I have done that a few times.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times.
So that 10-minute bit started by me saying that Paul from the Famileigh is uncut.
This is the best podcast in the world. Right, let's watch a clip.
And by this,
we've done about half an hour.
I mean, Paul is the man, right? And so this, if you don't know what time is it? Fuck me. If you don't know what the Famileigh are doing, this is a very good encapsulation.
Do you know what it is? It's when I know, and it's not that I did any of that deliberately just now, but it's when I know that they might find this and they might listen to hear about themselves.
Yeah.
I find it so funny that they're like, go on, what have they said about us? And they just have to listen to Foreskins for 5 minutes.
Even on 2.5 speed, that's wasting 1.5 minutes of their time. So this is to give you a sense of where they're at. They've kind of ramped up the dancing a bit, and this is them on Mother's Day. They're coming into the room. If you're not watching on Spotify, they've all got Mother's Day t-shirts on. They're dancing to Beyonce. Look at Big Paul, stage left there, giving it full beans. Harrison, as we talked about, in the middle. And it's kind of from the POV of their mum, which is an oddly kind of pornographic formulation that they're doing in. Again, Harrison really drawing the eye. But Big Paul's really holding his own in the dancing. Travis can't dance to save his life, God bless him.
No.
Now, that's a kind of meme format, right? So they often respond to these meme formats. And again, like we spoke about in the first episode, there's an incongruity between Big Paul is big, he's called Paul, and he works for City Thameslink or whatever.
Normal middle-aged man.
Yeah, and he's dancing like that.
But enjoying it. And I think I was wrong, actually. The joke that you referred to, where I was like, he looks like a bear that's had a shotgun pointed at him and forced to do kick-ups. Like, he doesn't look like that at all.
Not anymore.
He's got a big old grin on his face.
Yeah.
That is a good dancer.
100%.
That is a good dancer.
Would you say you're a good dancer?
No, I wouldn't. No. I'm nothing physically that I do ever looks good. I got too tall, too fast at 13. Prior to that, I was a good mover.
Yeah.
Twinkle toes on a football pitch.
Yeah, okay.
Like I could beat a man from a standing start.
Okay.
Like lovely feet. I could dance. I break danced in assembly. Prior to that, I got.
What song did you play?
Eminem, Lose Yourself.
Yes.
And I did that thing where you sort of like your hands are on the floor, but you're sort of walking around and going around like that, and then you do some like roly-poly
Just
stuff.
you on your own?
Me and Tom Allen, another lad.
Oh, you had a breakdancing troupe?
Yeah, me, Tom Allen, and Jamie Bruce.
Oh, what was the name of it again?
You're thinking of our rap group.
Oh, sorry.
Which was the 313.
Yes, which is the area code.
No, sorry, that's the 413. We were the 413. The original one is the 313.
Right.
But it was the same people, yeah.
So that was the kind of early stages.
We went from rap to breakdancing.
Yeah, it often happens, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then I got too tall, so we had to call it a day.
Yeah.
So fair play to Big Paul, still doing it at 6'4". But a bit like to watch them dance, yeah. at one point you were like, Travis can't dance to save his life. Mm-hmm. He's still really good at dancing.
Oh yeah, he's better than me.
He's still way better than us.
Yeah.
But like
Harrison is kind of like Brit school areas.
Yeah, Harrison's really. Oh God, I hate fucking saying it. Harrison's really good at dancing. He is good at dancing. But like, I want to say to like the others, if I could sit the others down, I'd be like, there is more dignity in you not being good at dancing than there is in him being good at dancing.
Yes.
Like Big Paul at the back, who is like great for his age at dancing. Travis at the back, who
great for a gym lad. Good touch for a big man.
But it's like you're a fucking gym lad.
Yeah, right.
Like. They always have a go at Travis. They always have a fucking pop at Travis. And it's the most, like, childish thing. I've got a thing, yeah. I'm pulling my trousers down because I keep getting horrible bulges in these videos. Onlyfans.com/Jacob Hawley if you want to see. I wish I was joking. The Travis, like, they always do this thing with him. And I've got a thing where I've got a theory about this, where, do you ever get people who, like, they always make jokes about, like, childhood dynamics?
Tell me more. Say more.
So, you know, like, there are some people who are like always have a thing with their sibling that's a bit childish, like,
right.
You're just jealous of me. You just want everything I want. It's like, you're 30 something.
Yeah.
They obviously don't. But it's like that's the joke you'd have done when you were 12 and she was 10.
Right.
And and it's like with these guys, they always do a thing with Travis where they're like, the middle child, middle child. No one loves the middle child as much as the other ones. And it's like, that's not relevant when you're like in your late 20s. But it's like you're trying to pull relevance back to a time when you were kids,
right?
And I think they do it because they're pedos. I honestly think that whenever there's anyone who is
not these people specifically.
No, these people specifically, but anyone who wants to, like, I don't know if I'm articulating myself properly.
I'd probably agree with that.
People who are like overly focused on
childhood dynamics, replicating
schoolyard dynamics, or schoolyard dynamics.
A thing that I feel falls into a similar category, correct me if I'm wrong, is I've got a mate that kind of will often bring up embarrassing stuff I did at uni.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone does embarrassing stuff at uni, and often under the influence of drugs and alcohol,
or just being
an idiot,
awkward 18-year-old who doesn't really know who they are. Yeah.
I did all three. I've got stuff in all three categories: drugs, alcohol, idiot.
Yeah.
And I often think, like, I think the desire to kind of cling on to that probably represents where we were in our friendship, in that we didn't have anything else to talk about. But also, like you say, this odd fixation on that time where it's like, it's entirely irrelevant now.
Yeah.
I'll be up for remembering nice stuff from at that time. I'm not really bothered about the time where I, like, kind of, was really pissed and fell over in a club.
And you want to be like, anything happened since then, you sad cunt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember being in that club 15 years ago. I also remember, like, the loads of stuff I've done since then.
And also, like, just because Travis has got wrong with him, whatever he's got wrong with him,
there's nothing wrong with him.
Well,
I'm so into batter for Travis.
Okay,
you're
a Travis defender.
Just because.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in other formats, like the big kind of lovable lunkhead gym lad, him being kind of constantly belittled as the middle child, like, I just don't think he really has the words or vocabulary to fight back sometimes.
I want to fight on his behalf.
Yeah.
They put up a thing.
He's very good-natured about it. He's very accepting of that role.
Yeah, because there's money behind it.
Right.
Because they've basically said, like, if you want this little fucking thing to carry on, you have to be the awkward middle child that we mock all the time.
If you want to keep getting paid in whey protein.
That's right. If you want your holding company to still receive the dividend every month, then you have to play the role of, he's goofy dad, I'm ringleader, you're the unloved middle child. And I would like him one day to get fucking long-haired floppy ringleader Harrison.
Yes.
I'd like him to get him by the fucking throat and be like, listen here, you fucking cunt. I'm attractive, I'm hench, I'll break you, yeah? Right? Yeah, okay, in our silly little dances, maybe I'm the one that can't dance as well as you. Put me in any other room, and I'm the alpha, and you are the fucking dog. And I will put a fucking leash on you and walk you around the garden if you don't shut the fuck up. I would love it if he did that. I would love it.
It feels like you're protecting our relationship onto Travis and Harrison.
No, I'm not. But the thing is, you and I are genuinely respecting of each other when I'm sober. And kind, right? And we've learned from... But, like, with these guys, they put up a thing the other day. I couldn't fucking believe they did this. They'd all put up some reel where they're doing a dance, right? The dad had done the dance, the Harrison, the ringleader, had done the dance, the fit sister had done the dance, who's 18, and who's over 18, and we don't know how far. She's probably like 30, hopefully. And then I honestly don't know what she looks like. I've done that thing that I do with her with other attractive, like stereotypically attractive women.
Yes.
Again, if you pointed at her and went, "Oh, that's Rita Ora,"
that's Dua Lipa.
I'd believe you. I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
I do, when I'm picturing her in my head, I think I'm picturing Sabrina Carpenter.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they all did this dance. The dad uploads it, Harrison the ringleader uploads it, and then Travis uploads it. And then, it 100% would have been Harrison, the shithead, doing this.
Right.
He put up a story on their Instagram where he'd screenshotted the reels and the numbers from each reel.
Wow.
And the dad had got like 400,000 views. He'd got like 600,000 views.
Wow.
Harrison had got like 70,000 views.
Yeah.
And he'd been like, ha ha, middle child not getting any love again.
Wow.
And I'd love that Travis to be like, you little fucking virgin. Like, I'd love him to be like, I'm a shagger, actually.
Yeah.
I'm gorgeous. I've got a degree.
Yeah.
Don't fucking...
I'm Jack
and I'd
Grealish.
love him to go, actually, you know what's way more dignified than getting 600,000 views on a dance?
Yeah.
70,000. Because only 70,000 people have seen me do this stupid shit, where nearly 1 million have seen you.
That would be an amazing...
It's hate watching.
It would be an amazing...
No one likes the family. No, like...
I think people do now.
That's mental.
I think that the big Paul Renaissance is bringing people round.
I think people like the dad. I think people still think it's mental. And I tell you what, for all the people who go, I love Big Paul should be on the One Show. Would you like your dad to start doing it?
No.
Absolutely not. There you go.
That would be a troubling development
There you
for
go.
all of us.
Don't like it that much, do
Yeah.
you?
And so the barring and
My dad. My dad dancing a tango through the King's Cross to tell me that my nan's died. He fucking would, the bitch.
the first video on the Hawley family Instagram account, a video of your dad putting you up against a door and saying, "I'm going to walk you around the garden like a dog. I'll put a bullet in your fucking head."
Me and my dad, and the caption's like, "When Nan dies, skull emoji."
So good. So the development in the family is as they try and monetize.
We need to get to the
how far
podcast because we've done like 45 minutes. We've been spoken about.
We don't need them; they need us. The big movement that they're trying to make is into the world of podcasting with the podcast.
Here we go.
Yeah, Father and Sons.
Maybe we can't tell them how to dance, but when they try and podcast, we're fair to critique.
And this is a clip that I want to raise first, and this is a clip that I noted down when I listened to 2 episodes of the podcast. I've had a very strange week. I've had very limited time, and I had to listen to 2 episodes of this podcast, and I had so little time I had to listen to it on 3.
If this isn't earning your Patreon money, come on.
Between meetings at work, I've been listening to it whilst I've been working on 2.5 speed.
Were you listening to the podcast on the way here? On the way to this record?
Yes, to remind myself of things.
Do you mind if I just tell you something, which I hadn't actually told you
Go.
since we met about an hour or so ago? I actually got a message on the Screen Rot Instagram from a man named Ben Telfer, who said, absolute scowl on Jake Farrell walking down Oxford Street. Didn't have the heart to interrupt his deep thoughts. Little does Ben know you were listening to the Family podcast.
At one point, this is true, right? God knows when he saw me. I was on Oxford Street and I was stopped waiting at a zebra crossing for the lights to go green. And the traffic was so busy that a cab was pulled up in front of me. So I could see my face in the reflection of the cab as I stood there.
Oh, wow.
And I was listening to the Family. And at one point I just caught myself in the reflection and I was honestly like this.
For audio listeners. It's Patrick Bateman about to eat a foot. It's like it's Raoul Moat facing down the first police officer.
Honestly, and so if he saw me at that point, God knows what he thought. But yeah,
oh god.
So this is the Family, and this is the clip that I had noted down when I was listening to it, which was like,
your face. You look like the fucking Southport killer. You've got like that. Was it Axel Rubicon?
I'm reading these books by this guy called Gordon Byrne, who's a really
say by the Southport.
By the Southport killer, but he's a really.
Fucking hell, prisons are too nice. They're letting him write books. They can't.
This is Gordon.
No, I hope he dies. Carry on.
Gordon, but this is a summer. What an episode this is, by the way.
I do. I that's the first
Shut
one
up.
I'd kill.
Shut up. I'm not going to do the Gordon Byrne thing now. Fuck
Do
it.
the Gordon, no, don't punish me.
I'm reading this series of books. He's wrote an amazing book about snooker called Pocket Money that I'm reading, and he's wrote this amazing book about the about the Yorkshire Ripper called Someone's Father, Someone's Sons. And there's a picture on the front of the Yorkshire Ripper, and I genuinely thought the other day that looks a bit like me. Like, not like genuinely, like he's got a beard and stuff in it, but I was like, there is something. And like looking in the window of that cab today, I was just like, this could be taken from the front of this Gordon Byrne book. Anyway.
This podcast started based on a dynamic where Jake was trying to quit social media for his mental health, and I, as his mate, wouldn't stop sending him stuff, like the worst stuff I could find. That's how this podcast started. Because we ignored that and have now proceeded to this podcast where he watches more social media than ever. He is genuinely morphing into the Yorkshire Ripper.
I almost passed out because I'd eaten so much Nicorette the other day. So I think I'd given myself nicotine poisoning.
I was also going to say, that is such a funny... Like, if you wanted to boil down our dynamic as a podcast duo into 5 seconds, it's you trying to talk about a book about snooker while I insist that they should kill the Southport killer. I'd kill him. I'm not usually like that, but I'd kill him. No, there's a book about snooker that I need to tell you.
It's more about British culture at the time. It's about Thatcherism, really. But
talking about British culture. Why don't we kill his parents as well?
Take care, fucking hell. Right, this was a clip that I was listening to, and I thought, I'm going to play that clip. And it turned out they'd already...
I hope Harrison's listening to this.
They'd already clipped it, yeah. This is a clip of Paul talking about the early days of the Famileigh.
Come on. We looked at a couple of old videos, didn't we?
They're playing an old
it's
video.
It's interesting because for the first time ever, we deep dived back at some of the old videos, and I actually said, yeah, I can see why we've got so much hate.
They're no different to the videos now.
At the time, it was like, we're just having fun, but if you step back and then look at a video without knowing us, you go, yeah, what a bunch of plebs.
Paul's class, man.
That's what everyone said.
That is what everyone said, Paul.
Do you know what, actually, Paul? They used much worse words than plebs.
And so, yeah, we used some of them as well. We said you look like a Russian bear in a circus. Now, some amazing things about episode 1 of the Famileigh, Like Father, Like Sons, that you might not know about.
From their podcast.
Yeah, so the big innovation of it is that, you know, in Joe Rogan, they have that little fella, and he will say to him, "Could you pull that up, Jamie?" And he's like,
could you bring that up for me,
Jamie?
Video of chimps. He's
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
So
How did they get the AK-47s? Like
you know, they only eat grass-fed steaks.
That's incredible, man. Imagine if they had guns. Wow, that's something, man.
They're killers.
That's really
They're
something.
Killers.
I mean, Joey Diaz, man, that guy's a killer, man. Fuck.
He's got Jamie. He's
He's got Jamie.
He's the producer. He's the producer of
So
the
they have a
podcast,
producer, and that producer is their nan, Paul's mum. Producer Nan. Now, I thought it was a joke, and obviously there'd be like an intern there, but halfway through the podcast, they ask her to pull something up, and she fucks it up. So they're actually getting her to produce it, right? And so this is a funny joke, but then they say to her, "Nan, how did you feel when you got the call?" And I won't hear a bad word said against the Nan, by the way. She's just like, for 2 minutes, is just like, "Well, I just love you all so much. I just love hanging around with you. It's just so lovely to be here. Thanks for having me." And that's it. That's the joke. That's the joke, right? So that's 2 minutes in. Now they then go into a feature called Family Court. And before they go into that's 15 minutes in. Before they go into that, they have to cut because Paul needs to go for a piss.
That's a fucking brilliant.
They don't cut that out. They leave in him saying, "I need to go to the toilet," and then they're like, "Oh, he's back."
Good.
Yeah.
We would keep that in. Fair. No, I think that's good. I think that's good podcasting.
And then there's an incredible thing where Family Court. Now, if you had to guess what the feature Family Court entails, what would you think?
One of them brings an issue to the table. They kind of resolve it in almost like a courtroom setting where one of them behaves like a judge. There's a prosecution and a defence.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's right. So it's kind of that, but it's from the listeners. So if you could have a guess at what kind of issue that people would bring, or the tone of that issue, what would you guess that would be?
Well, I guess family stuff, right? They're a family.
Yes.
Like,
level of seriousness, what would you reckon?
Oh, no, low level. Like, oh, God. I prefer when Mum makes mash with our roast, but she keeps insisting on doing roast potatoes. Why can't we just have mash? Bloody hell, Mum. Right? Yeah, I'd assume.
In the first episode, the issue on the Family Court is that one person that was listening has gone into a property deal with their mum, and The mum has reneged on the property deal. They're having to go through lawyers and they haven't spoken to each other for 2 years.
I reckon Big Paul can sort this.
And honestly, it's like Big Paul's just like, no one wins out of this. No one wins out of this.
Fucking quality.
They try and make a joke about like what might this be like at Christmas dinner, and honestly the voice note is like, yes, I went in on a property deal with my mum for 75% on a property, but then I went round to the property and she had built a 5-story house in the garden of that property. We are now going through solicitors. What do you think of that? And they're all like, yeah, that's awful, that's really horrible.
Meanwhile, Harrison's thinking about his share class and how it's lower, how it should be higher than Travis's.
It should be. Hi there, family. What do you reckon? My dad says I can't have the big light on when I'm playing PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be that. It's just a woman being like, I haven't spoken to my mum in 2 years.
Me fed it up. My nan's a fucking cunt.
My nan's an awful woman.
I want to dance.
Oh, maybe we could get on the family court. So that's and a kind of in a Porky style. I'll just give you a couple of other things from episode 2.
Please.
By the way, each episode is about 22 minutes long.
Wow.
They're not the most natural podcasters. Insights from episode 2. Paul has a folder on his phone called Me with Famous People.
Quality.
Number 1 picture in that, him with Davina McCall. They believe that their dog knows that they're on TikTok. They believe their dog is aware of the concept of TikTok. And then Paul and Harrison tell an anecdote where they went to the Maldives on some SponCon.
Yeah, I remember that. That's how bad is that? I remember their trip to the Maldives.
And in the bar...
Thomas Cook paid for it.
Yeah, Thomas Cook. And they were in the bar whilst Harrison was in the room getting ready, and they were drinking cocktails, and everyone thought they were a gay couple.
That's funny.
That's funny.
That's
yeah.
good. That's
and
funny.
That's good gear. And
Big
Big Paul leans into that, and it's quite nice. But like the tonal, it's so all over the place, and it doesn't really have a hook. And the Nan thing is lovely. She's so earnest, but she's just every episode is like, I'm just so happy to see you. Thanks for having me around. I'm so proud.
That's where
of
they
you.
haven't seen her in months. That's where they've been. Sorry, dancing again. Call next week. Speak to our assistant.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to start getting like that with my mum.
Maybe try and use the Google Calendar, Nan.
Yeah, Nan.
You'll be able to see when we do have some time when we're not dancing.
I'll put a bullet in your fucking head. If you interrupt me doing dances again, I'll put a fucking bullet in your fucking head. This is another clip from that podcast where they're talking about people's perceptions of them, which is a beautiful Brent moment where Harrison really emphasises actually your exact theory of the big divide between Travis and Paul as people and Harrison.
We've met so many people, obviously, in real life, and I always get the same response. You get it as well.
Obviously, in
Dad
real
gets it
life.
as well. Oh my God. You guys are really cool. Like, you're actually...
Wow, guys, you guys are so cool.
Thanks, guys. Do you know what? As I've said that now...
Trav's giving him a stick.
I disagree.
My aura has now minus 50.
Wow, you guys are so cool. Yeah, all right.
Honestly, I'm just not going to
mate.
bother. I'm just not going to bother because I can already see the comments thinking, he's just made this up. And you know what? I retract the statement. As I've said it out loud, I think, that's just not right.
Shall I back out?
Please back me.
I think because we put out a certain persona online, and I think because we do like the dances and skits, I think people have a
that's what you do.
idea of who they think we're going to be. And then they chat to us for like 5-10 minutes and realise that, oh, they're actually like nice human beings.
Yeah.
I think that's like...
We're chill.
I do think they're genuinely quite sweet people.
Yeah.
Like, and you watch it, and like one of them's like, you know, we meet people and they're like, you guys are actually cool. They're like, oh people say we're cool. It's like, they are fucking cool. They're fine. They're like, what I found interesting is the clip you showed earlier where they were like, God, I watched some of our old videos and they're bad.
Right.
And maybe this is me being like a fucking snob, too cool for school, don't try at anything, it's cringe, right?
Yeah.
But I think they look more lovable, and I'm like, that's cool, when they're really bad at dancing.
Yes.
Whereas now, when they look like a dance troupe, when they look like they could go on Britain's Got Talent,
Right.
I'm like, that is cringe. Do you know what I mean? That is like, oh man, and the thing is, we say this all the time, but it's like they probably just did it once. It got a bit of traction. They're like, we'll do it again. Before you know it,
The door's open.
Yeah, before you know it, you've got
In comes the internet.
a limited company.
Yeah.
You know, you're actually earning money out of it. you know, the dad's obviously got a good job, but fuck knows what those two kids were going to fucking do with themselves before this.
I think they were both at uni, yeah.
Yeah, what are you going to do now? Of course you just keep it going. And now it's like, what are you going to do? Turn down the money?
No.
Like, I know, I won't say who, but I know someone who is involved in a podcast that can be quite right-wing and nasty.
Right.
And it's huge.
Okay.
It is huge, international, huge. And I know that one of them isn't really sure he wants to do it anymore.
Right.
But it's probably like a 6-figure.
Yeah.
What do you do?
You have made your bed, and you will literally have to lie in it.
It is like that thing of like, it's 1941. You live in Dortmund or whatever.
Yeah.
The Nazis. What are you going to do? You joining the resistance,
Yeah.
or are you going
We all
along
like
with
to
it?
think we would.
We all like to think we wouldn't join the family. We all like to think we would turn down the money and be like, dance with my dad's a bit embarrassing. I don't know how many of us would.
I'd be out in that front garden, lickety split.
Fuck yeah!
You wouldn't be able to move
if you got the family's deal, if you got it written down, and it was like, right, contract for the year, you're going to earn X amount, you're going to fly to Mauritius, you're going to fly here, you're going to go there, it's going to do this, you're going to do this, right? There's going to be some shitty comments. You won't see them. You'll pay someone like Eugene to do your TikTok for you, and ultimately you're going to have a really comfortable life. What do I have to do? Dance with dad every now and then.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you would turn it down.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people.
Whereabouts do I sign?
Well, exactly. How many people would turn it down? Look what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
How many times have I wished death upon my poor nan? She might have died while I'm recording right now. How would I feel about that? I don't know. Parents would have called me halfway through. But
Jacob's dad's here. What? Sorry, we're going to have to stop the record.
But like, I don't know. I do feel a bit like whatever with these guys. Like, I think the podcast is
a stretch.
I just think I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, let's show them the people behind the dancing. There isn't anyone. It's just dancing. We want to show you the real family. It's like, you're exactly what I thought you'd be.
It's the
Bit
normal
daft,
family.
somewhat affable.
From Bedfordshire.
Your nan's dying to spend more time with you. Like, and you do that silly laugh every now and then.
I completely agree. Maybe apart from Big Paul. I don't know where this is going to end from Big Paul. I do not know
None of
where
it's
this is going to
surprising.
end.
None of the things.
If you told me he's going to be doing like, all right, we're down here at the finish line of the London Marathon and Big Paul's got a few runners. Big Paul, who are you speaking to? And he's like, I'm speaking to this guy whose dad's just died and he's on his way to tell his son. Do you know what I mean? I could see him doing those bits and pieces on the telly, Big Paul. I don't know if he wants to do that, but I think he's got it in his locker.
I think nowadays, I mean, this is the thing. I think if you were to say to those people who do that job nowadays, isn't it? Really? Is it Ben Shepherd or something? I don't know. Those kind of like generic
presenters,
broadcasters on TV. I think if you were to offer them that family contract, dance with dad, X amount of money, fly to Mauritius, I think they'd sack
they'd have
off
it as well.
fucking one show.
Yeah. Maybe I'm got it the wrong way around.
I think
Paul doesn't want to be them; they want to be Paul.
Exactly, in the same way that we don't want to be Ian Sterling with his daft fucking Comedy Central show. No thanks.
Well, that'll do for this week, everybody. Foreskins, dead grandparents. Whether the family are going to go into bits and pieces broadcasting.
If the family start talking about foreskins, start talking about rival drug gangs robbing their friends, if they start talking about the things we do, fair fucks to them, we'll start dancing. In the meantime, you keep dancing, we'll keep podding. See you next time, rotters. Up the rotters.
Bash.